Hey there, today I want to talk about a simple thing you can practice on the saxophone or any instrument that's going to help you improve in the areas that matter most quickly. Do you ever feel like you're practicing for hours and not getting anywhere? Everybody feels like that sometimes. Here's something you can add into your daily practice routine that's going to make you feel like you've accomplished something after every practice session while getting better at the things that matter most as a saxophone player. We're going to learn a melody by ear, but we're going to use the process to work on our technique, our finger position, our sound, our phrasing, our time feel, and lots of other things. I chose the tune Sunny by Bobby Hebb to work on because the melody is relatively simple and you can play it just using the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. And also it should be pretty familiar to most people. Now I made a backing track for Sunny that follows the Bobby Hebb version. I can't use the original in this YouTube video because YouTube will get mad at me. But at the end of the video I'll give you a link where you can download the backing track if you want it. Now, every musician at every level should be working on learning melodies by ear. If you want something more challenging, go ahead and learn Donna Lee by Charlie Parker or Spain by Chick Corea, something really technical like that. Those melodies are going to take you longer, but there's a lot to be gained from learning melodies in the way I'm about to show you. Once you've chosen the melody you want to learn, the next step is to find a recording that you want to use to learn it from. Don't get the sheet music. That's not part of the exercise and it's not going to help you improve as a musician. Don't get the sheet music, really. Just don't do it. A tune like Sunny has been recorded many, many times by many different artists. I chose the original version for this exercise and I put a link in the description below where you can listen to it on YouTube. You're going to want to listen to the song several times to get it in your ear first. Next step is to work out the melody note by note on your instrument. Put on the recording, play a phrase, listen carefully to it, then press pause, sing back the note or a couple of notes that you heard, then find them on your instrument and repeat. Now the dark days are done and the bright days are here. Let me listen again. Now the dark days are done and the bright days are here. As I mentioned earlier, the melody to Sunny can be played with just the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. If any of this is new to you, go check out my Play Sax by Ear crash course. There is a link in the card on the screen and in the description below. There's also a link to a playlist with some other videos of mine discussing how to learn melodies by ear. Now I want you to learn the song in phrases. So start with 2-bar phrases, then 4-bar phrases, then 8-bar phrases. Don't try to learn the whole song all at once. That only makes the process take longer and it's likely to result in you making mistakes with the melody. As you're learning these phrases, you're going to want to put on the metronome and loop each section over and over again, focusing on your time feel and rhythmic accuracy. An important part of time feel is your finger position. You want to work on playing this melody or whatever melody you're working on with perfect finger position, keeping your fingertips in contact with the key pearls all the time or as much as possible. If you're not able to play the melody in perfect sync with the metronome and good finger position, no problem. Just slow it down. I'm playing this at with the metronome set to 110. But if I'm having trouble playing that melody at that speed, I'm going to slow it down. I'll slow it down to 90 or even less, 80. The important thing is getting it perfect, getting that perfect finger position, staying nice and relaxed, and really playing in sync rhythmically. Now, I'm also going to be thinking a lot about my sound. If the recording we're listening to is of a saxophone player, then great. I'm going to try to play as much like the saxophone player as I can and match his sound as much as I can. But in this case, where I'm listening to a singer, that's great too, because I can assimilate a lot of the phrasing and the way Bobby Hebb sings into my saxophone playing. This learning other musicians' phrasing is one of the most important things we can do on the saxophone, and really there's no other way to learn it other than listening to recordings and trying to copy what they're doing. My sunny one shines so sincere. Now, I'm going to continue in this way until I have the entire melody memorized, and it might take a little bit while. But once I've got all the notes memorized, the work is far from done. I then need to practice the melody over and over again with the recording. I'm going to be working on my finger technique, my finger position, my rhythmic and time feel, my sound, my phrasing, and I'm just using the melody as the vehicle for practicing all of those other things. But the bonus is at the same time, I'm reinforcing my knowledge and my ability to play that melody from memory. I find that the way we practice scales and other technical exercises doesn't always translate well to the way we play saxophone in performance situations. So part of the idea behind this exercise is you want to be working on like a real world situation. You want to be working on sounding good in a performance situation. You're not going to get up on stage in front of an audience and play your melodic minor scales in all 12 keys with the metronome on. But that's something we spend perhaps a lot of time practicing. Try practicing things that are more realistic and more like something you would actually do in a performance. So start practicing melodies and focusing just on melodies. You're going to see a big improvement. If you were to work on one melody per week for a year, at the end of the year, you'd have 50 melodies, assuming you took 2 weeks off. If you've tried learning melodies in the past and found you weren't able to remember them after a certain amount of time, it's probably because you didn't practice those melodies in a methodical way as I'm telling you to do now. You need to learn a melody slowly, piece by piece, and over a long period of time before it becomes part of your repertoire. Now some tips for getting the most out of this melody memorization exercise. In the Bobby Hebb version of Sunny, he modulates 3 times. So he ends up playing the melody in 4 different keys. That's like a built-in variation to this exercise. No matter what melody you're learning, you can add this in. You could start practicing the song in multiple keys or all the keys. He also changes the way he phrases the melody and even the notes of the melody from one iteration to the next. Learning how to vary melodies and embellish melodies is extremely important, and there's no better way to do that than by listening to great musicians and emulating the way they do it. Once I've got this version learned inside and out, it's going to take several days, or it could be weeks depending on the song. I'm going to check out some other recorded versions. So for Sunny, there's tons of great versions. Check out the Frank Sinatra version, which is like in a blues shuffle feel. If you listen to the James Brown version, he starts out as like a jazz ballad. The Stevie Wonder version is amazing. Listen to the way he phrases the melody. He plays a great harmonica solo that there's a lot to be learned from that. If you make learning melodies in this way part of your daily practice routine, you're going to be hitting all of the most important things you need to be practicing every day, each time. That includes listening, transcribing, finger technique and time feel, your sound, phrasing, pretty much everything. Did I mention building repertoire? If you're learning to improvise, then you're going to want to learn and memorize the chord progression for this song as well. But that's a topic for another lesson. For now, I just want you to choose a melody and a recorded version to learn it from each week. Learn the melody note by note and phrase by phrase, and then practice each phrase over and over again with the metronome, focusing on your rhythmic accuracy, your sound and technique. Then practice the entire melody along with the recording, matching the phrasing and embellishments. Then go listen to other recorded versions of the song, adopting the elements that appeal to you. Work on one song in this way for at least a week before moving on to another. Make this part of your daily practice routine and you'll see tangible results week after week. Over time, you're going to develop a long list of songs you know how to play, and you will see all your other saxophone playing skills improve along the way. Be sure to let me know in the comments below which tunes you're working on, and if this lesson was helpful to you, go ahead and click the thumbs up button. In the description below, there are lots of links for you to check out. If you click over here, there's some more videos on learning to play melodies by ear. Thanks for watching.